Hello friends, this is Ravan. This is my YouTube channel Civil Engineering Tutorial by Ravan. To subscribe my channel, click on subscribe button and click on bell icon for more interesting updates. In this video lecture, I will explain you modeling and analysis of 40-story skyscraper building by using ETABS software. Go to click on ETABS software. The software will be open like this. Click on cancel button. So initially we need to change the units from the KP inches to kilonewton meter. So for that, click on this change units option, change to kilonewton meter. So after that, go to file option, click on new model. So here we need to select the no option in order to model the new structure. Click on no option. So here we need to give the grid dimensions data and story dimensions data for the respective skyscraper building. So for this respective skyscraper building, just I am assuming number of bays along like X direction are 8, number of lines along Y direction are 8, and spacing between the each line in X direction as well as Y direction will be 3. So after that, we need to enter the simple story data. For this building, I am taking 40-story building. Just I am taking number of stories here as 40. So here we need to select the grid only option. Click on OK. So the left hand side section will be consisting of the plan view as well as right hand section will be consisting of 3D view for the respective structure. So after taking the grids for the respective structure, we need to select the IS code. So based on those IS code, we need to define the properties of the beam as well as column. So for that, go to select option, go to click on preference. So here we need to select the concrete frame design. So it is consisting of design code of ACI code. Just we need to take ACI to IS code here. Click on OK. So after that, go to select options again, click on preference again select your steel frame design. So here we need to change the IS 800 code for the respective steel design. Just I am changing IS 800 1998 code. Click on OK. So after selecting the IS code, we need to define the material properties. Material properties is nothing but the grade of concrete as well as grade of steel for the respective building. So go to click on define option, click on material properties. So here we need to click on add new material option. Here we need to give the material name. Just I am taking M40 grade concrete for the respective skyscraper building. Next we need to take the compressed strength will be 40,000. Again we have to take 600,000 as per my assumption. Just I am taking 600,000 for the respective shear reinforcement also. Click on OK. So after that, click on OK option. So after that, we need to define the frame sections. So frame sections are nothing but beam size as well as column size. So for that, go to define options, click on frame sections. The software was already defined some frame sections, but we need to delete all previous sections in order to create the new one. So just I'm selecting all my previous section, click on delete property. So here we need to add the rectangular section. Just I'm taking beam here. Just I'm taking beam will be consisting of 0.4 cross 0.4. So after that, we need to select the material here from steel to concrete. So here we need to give the value of T2 as well as T3. Just I am taking T2 and T3 will be consisting of 0.4 cross 0.4. So after that, click on reinforcement value, click on beam option. So click on OK. So after that, click on OK. Select W44 by 335. Click on delete property. Again, we need to add new rectangular section in order to create the column. Just I am taking column size will be consisting of 0.4 cross 0.5 is my column size. Next I am taking material is M40 grade again. Again I am taking T3 will be 0.4 and I am taking T2 will be 0.5. Click on reinforcement. So after that, we need to select the column. Just I am giving cover will be consisting of 50 mm cover. Just I am taking 0.05. So here I am assuming number of bars in 3 direction are 3, number of bars in 2 direction are 3. So after that, we need to give the bar size. Just I am assuming bar size will be consisting of 16D. Again we have to assume the corner bar size. Just I am taking corner bar size will be consisting of 20D for the respective section. Click on reinforcement to be checked. Click on OK. So this is the reinforcement section for the respective column. So click on OK. So after that, click on OK. So after defining the beam size, column size, we need to define the slab thickness for the respective building. So for that, go to define option, click on wall slab deck sections. So here we need to delete all previous sections initially. So select your add new slab section. Select S150. Just I am taking 150 is the thickness of my slab. Change the material from steel to M40 grade. Just we need to give the value of the respective slab at the membrane section as well as bedding section will be 150 mm. Click on membrane. Click on OK. So after that, select your wall one. Click on delete section. Click on OK. So after that we need to assign the respective properties like beam size, column size as well as slab thickness for this respective building. So for that initially we need to go to the first floor. So for that just click on up arrow once, again click on one more time. So it is the first story here, elevation will be 3 meter. So we need to assign the beam sections for this respective building. So for that select your create lines in region option. So we need to assign the respective create lines in option for the respective first story. So after that we need to select the I section. So here we need to change the property from beam to column in order to apply the columns. Just I have selected the column here. So after that select your slab. So assign to the respective ground story. So after that go to your set building view option, apply to objects all windows, click on OK. So after assigning the beams, columns as well as slab at the base, we need to copy the respective properties to the remaining 9 stories. So for that initially we need to select all the beams, columns as well as slab. Go to edit option, click on replicate option. So here we need to select by linear, radial or mirror or story. Next I am selecting by story level. So here we need to select the stories for the respective building. Next I am selecting story 2 to story 10. So click on OK option. So it will copy the respective ground story to the remaining stories like this. So after that we need to go to the 11th story. In the same way we need to move the arrows to the upward direction. Just I am taking the 11th story for the respective building. So this is my 11th story for the respective building. Go to click on create lines in region option. Select your respective story options like this. So after that select your I section option. So just drag to the respective structure. Again go to select your slab section, drag to the respective structure. So after that we need to copy the respective 11th story to the remaining 9 stories. So for that initially we need to select this respective 11th story. So for that go to select option, go to story level. So here we need to select the respective 11th story. Just I am selecting the 11th story here. So after that go to edit option again. Again we have to do the replicate option by story level. So here we need to select the stories here again. So just I am selecting stories 20 to 12 for the respective option here. Click on OK. So it will copy the all stories from the respective 12th story to the 20th story. So after that go to your respective 21st story in the same way. Just we have to go to the 21st story. So this is my 21st story for the respective building. Again go to create lines in region. Just select your beams option. Just we have to create the beams for the respective building. Again go to select your I section, nothing but the columns option. Just we have to drag this respective option. Again select your slab. Just we have to drag this respective option. So after that we need to copy the respective 21st story to the remaining stories. So for that initially we need to select all the members at the 21st story. Go to edit option, click on replicate option, select your story. Here we need to select the stories. Just I am selecting the story number 22nd to story number 30. In the same way we have to select the story number 30. Click on OK. So it will copy the respective 21st story to the 30th story. So after that we need to create the 31st story. So for that initially we need to go to the 31st story in the same way. So this is my 31st story for the respective building. Click on create lines in region. So create the respective beams for the respective building. Again click on I section, create the columns. Again select your slab element command, create a slab element command. So after that select all the members at this respective option. Go to edit option, click on replicate option. Here we need to go to by stories. So just we have to select the respective story from 32 to 40. Click on OK. So it will copy the respective 32nd story to the remaining stories. So after creating these respective properties like beam size, column size as well as slab thickness, we have to define the load cases for this respective building. So for that go to define option, click on static load cases. The program was already defined the dead load values as well as live load values. So we need to give the floor load value in addition to that. Just I am selecting the super dead, click on add button. So after that we need to assume the earthquake load also. Just I am taking earthquake load in Xdirection. So here we need to select the quick load. So after that we need to select the IS code here. Click on OK. Again we have to select the earthquake load in Y direction. Just I am taking the load case will be in Y direction. Again we have to take the wind load in X direction, devlex. Here we need to select the wind. Here we have to select the IS 875. Click on add button. Again we have to select the wind load in Y direction. So after defining the respective earthquake load in X direction, earthquake load in Y direction, wind load in X direction, wind load in Y direction, we need to modify the properties as per our assumption. So for that, initially we need to select earthquake load in X direction, click on modify lateral load. So here I'm taking earthquake zone will be consisting of fifth zone, which is having 0.36 is the seismic zone value factor. Soil type will be medium. So X direction values, seismic load, click on OK. So after that, select your earthquake load in Y direction, click on modify. So select in Y direction, again click on OK option, again select your wind load in X direction, modify lateral load. So here we need to define the wind speed. Just I'm taking wind speed will be 44. So just I'm taking terrain category will be 3, class structure will be B, risk coefficient will be 1, topography coefficient will be 1. So click on add button. So after that, select your wind Y, click on modify lateral load. Again we have to select the wind load here. Just I'm selecting third terrain category. Just we have to enter the wind direction angle, which is 90 degrees for the respective Y direction. So click on OK. So after defining the properties and defining the load cases, we need to apply the load cases for this respective building. So for that, initially we have to select all the building for the respective structure. Go to assign option, click on join point loads, select your forces, click on add to existing loads initially. Just we have to give the values of force in X direction, force in Y direction, force in Z direction, as well as moment in XX, moment in YY, moment in ZZ as 1. Click on OK. So after assigning the load cases self-weight for this respective building, we have to assign the dead load for the respective beam. So for that respective beam, we need to calculate the dead load individually. So dead load will be equal to dimensions of the respective beam multiplied by unit weight of the concrete. So for this respective building, we have to consider the unit weight as 25 kilonewton per meter cube. So just I'm taking the calculator here. So we have to calculate the dead load. Just I'm taking 0.4 cross 0.4 is my beam size. We need to multiply this with 25. So it is comes under 4 kilonewton per meter, which is applied for the respective beam. So for that, initially go to select option, select to frame section, select 0.4 by 0.4. So go to assign option, frame line load, distributed load, add to existing load. We need to give the value as 4 here. Click on OK. So after that, we need to assign the columns for this respective building. So we need to calculate the column dead load initially. So for that, go to select your 0.4 cross 0.5 is the dimensions of the respective column. We need to multiply it with 25 is the unit weight for the respective column. So it is comes under 5. So we need to apply the respective 5 value for the respective column. Go to select option, frame sections, select your column section, click on OK. So after that, go to assign option, frame line load, distributed load, add to existing load, which is consisting of 5 kilonewton per meter. Click on OK. So after that, we need to apply the dead load for the respective slab. So we need to calculate the dead load value initially. Just I am taking thickness of the slab. We need to multiply it with the unit weight of the concrete. Just I am taking it as 25 equal. So it is comes under 3.75 for the respective slab. So further, go to select options. Here we have to select the wall slab deck sections. Select S150. So after selecting the slab, go to assign, shell area load, uniform. Click on add to existing load. We need to give the value as 3.75. Click on OK. So after that, we need to assign the live load for this respective building. So for that, initially we need to go to select your previous section, nothing but the slab sections. Go to assign options, shell area loads. Here we have to select the uniform load. Just I'm selecting add to existing load option here. Here we have to select the live load option. Just I'm taking live load will be consisting of 3 kilonewton per meter square in gravity direction. Click on OK. So after that, we need to assign the floor load for this respective building. For that, go to select your PS option. Go to assign, shell area load, uniform. Again, we have to select the floor load here. Next, I'm taking live load to the floor load for this respective building. Add to existing loads. 1.5 is the value. Click on OK. So it will assign the respective floor load for this respective building. So after that, we need to assign the earthquake load in X direction. So for that, initially we have to select all the building. Go to assign option. Go to select your shell area loads, uniform. Here we have to select the earthquake load in X direction. Add to existing load option. So load will be 1.5 in global X. Click on OK. So after that, we need to assign the respective earthquake load in Y direction. So for that, initially we need to select all the building. So just I'm selecting all the buildings for this respective option. Go to assign option here, shell area load, uniform. Here we have to select the earthquake load in y direction, add to existing loads again. Again we have to take the load will be 50 percentage of the live load, which is comes under 1.5 in global y. Click on OK. So it will assign the respective earthquake load in y direction. So after that we need to assign the wind load for this respective building. For that go to select all your respective structure, go to assign option, go to shell area loads. So here we have to select the wind pressure coefficient for the respective shell area loads. Wind load in x direction, click on OK. So after that we need to assign the respective wind load in z direction. So for that initially we need to select all the structure for this respective building. Next I'm selecting Control A for the respective building. Go to assign option. Just I'm taking shell area load, wind pressure coefficient. Again we have to select wind load in y direction. Click on OK. So it will assign the respective wind load in y direction for this respective building. So after that we need to assign the supports for this respective structure. So for that go to select option. We have to select by story level. Here we have to apply the fixed supports for the respective base. Just I'm selecting base option here. Click on OK. Again go to assign joint point. So here we have to select the respective restraints. Select your fixed supports. Click on OK. So apply your fixed support, set the base for the respective structure. So after that we need to assign the diaphragm for this respective building. So for that initially we have to select all the building. Go to assign option, joint point. Here we have to select the diaphragm, select D1, click on OK. So the diaphragm will be appear for the respective plan section as well as 3D section. So this is the diaphragm for this respective building. So it is nothing but the center distance of the respective building. So in order to appearing the diaphragm for the respective plan, we have to click on right mark here, click on diaphragm extent option, apply to all windows, click on OK. So it will appear the respective diaphragm for the respective plan section also. So after assigning the load cases for this respective building, we have to do the analysis. So for that go to analyze option, click on run analysis, select your dynamic parameter. Just I'm selecting it as 12, click on OK. Again click on OK. So after that go to analyze option. Here we have to check for errors. Just I'm checking line checks for the respective model. So click on select your line checks, click on OK. Model is checking here. So it is consisting of 0 errors. Click on cancel button. Go to analyze option, click on run analysis. Go to select your desktop, save your model initially. Just I'm giving the name randomly. Click on save option. So we need to check for the analysis. So after checking analysis process is done, we have to check the deflection value, shear value as well as bending diagram for this respective building. So after analysis part is completed, the right hand section building will be consisting of deflection diagram. So click on start animation. So this is the deflection of the respective building due to presence of the dead load case. So after that we need to see the output for this respective building for the respective deflection, shear as well as bending. So for that go to display option, select your show tables option here. So here we have to select the load cases for this respective building. Just I am selecting dead load case, click on OK. Here we have to select the displacement. So select your displacement as story drift. Again we have to select building output here. Just I am selecting here as story shear. Click on OK. So it will show the respective deflection diagram values as well as story shear values, nothing but the bending moment as well as shear force values for the respective stories for the respective building. So after that go to select your display option, show deform shape option. So here we have to select the show deform shape for the respective dead load case. So after the deflection diagram is done, we have to see the shear force value diagram as well as bending moment diagram for this respective skyscraper building. For that go to display option, show member spandrella forces, frame pier spandrella forces. So here we have to select the shear as bending. So just I'm selecting shear to click on OK. So this is the shear force diagram for this respective structure. So after that go to display option, show member for spandrella forces. So here I am selecting moment 33, click on OK. This is the bending moment diagram for the respective structure due to presence of dead load case. So after that go to display again for the frame spandrella forces, select torsion, click on OK option. So this is the torsion diagram for this respective building. So this is the process, modeling and analysis of skyscraper building by using ETABS software. Thank you.